I think often people think if they identify a problem with somebody and they're working it through, and they're usually looking for how to fix this situation with this person, as opposed to what's this teaching you, what's this providing you with an opportunity for in life, learning that's generic, that's in life,
Right.
and it will encompass this person. But I think what people expect to do with that is, I'm going to sort out what I'm going to do with this person in the future that'll make it all right. And it's so much more than that. It's about, what's being shown to you, a learning that perhaps you are not drawing on as fully as you could have done. That's going to benefit you in general. And then it just becomes so much more than that specific scenario.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day. This is Conor and Kallum with the Unplugged podcast number 64 with, get those balloons going, with world-renowned NLP master trainer, author, Sue Knight, joining us all the way from France. And for those who don't know Sue yet, you will. I'll let Cal share with the world a little bit more about you.
Yeah, huge welcome back to the Connekt Unplugged podcast to Sue Knight. This is her second time on the podcast. She did an amazing session with us back in March. If you haven't seen that, check that one out after this one. Sue is a master trainer and a best-selling author of NLP at Work. If you don't have a copy of that, grab it straight away. She's also the author and creator of 30 influential works in communication, leadership, and behavioral change. Sue has worked closely with Frank Fairley, the founder of Provocative Therapy, and is one of the few trainers who blends NLP with provocative coaching. If you're not sure what provocative coaching, just hold on, because she's going to be talking about it today. It absolutely blew our minds last time. It was amazing. Using humor, honesty, and paradox to help people shift at a deep level. She is very bold, insightful, and a true pioneer. Sue, Conor, let's dive in.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm just thinking, though, you two use humour all the time. It's not like it's anything new to you.
I think
I'll tell you what is humorous is that it's 10:30 p.m. in France right now, and you're up talking to some Aussies.
I know, I must be crazy
about NLP.
Like
but mind you, you'll be up late at night in the near future talking to some Aussies, I believe.
When I do a program.
Yes. So look, we talk about what you're doing up, what's coming up next at the end of the podcast. But let's just quickly go there now.
Yes.
You said that you have an NLP master practitioner training online coming up in the Australian time zone.
Yes, because there's often been people who've requested something from Australia, but the times I typically run the programs just don't work, or people have been there in the middle of the night. So I've just had enough requests to go, right, okay, I'll do one that's time friendly to Australia next March.
Fantastic. So March 2026, if you would like to review Master Practitioner, or you're a practitioner of NLP, or you're a trainer of NLP, and you would love to know how someone who's been in the industry for 30-something years does it, plus 30 plus years. Sue, what's your website? SueKnight.something?
SueKnight.com.
SueKnight.com. SueKnight, Night.com. Connect with Sue, also on social media, and get the details.
Thank you. Yeah.
So,
I was looking, because I know you like things in the past. You talked about history last time, and I thought, you could ask me, when did I start NLP? And I'm not good on past dates, but I've got my certificates in the loo here. So, I've got all the any sort of awards I've been given. I thought, put them in the loo, they're out the way, sort of thing. Not in the loo, but, on the walls, sort of thing.
No, it's at the Louvre.
Oh, well. And I did my practitioner in NLP in 1987.
1987?
Yeah. So
that's
quite
exciting.
a while ago.
We've got Remco Grimm joining us from the Netherlands. Do you know Remco?
I know the name.
Yes, he's been around for many years as well. Amazing corporate trainer as well.
Yes.
So let's get cracking and talk about the deeper work. We were having fun, Cal, myself, and you before the button went live. and I'll throw it out there because it's a great conversation starter.
I dread this. I dread what you're going to ask me.
Hi there, this is Conor and Kallum from Connekt Coaching. Hope you are enjoying the Unplugged podcast. Nothing lights us up more than seeing businesses thrive, especially in uncertain times. We have 32 combined years of doing nothing but mentoring and training businesses from around the globe in order to increase their revenue and thrive in uncertain times. So what we would like to do is share with you a little bit about what we've discovered over the last 32 years.
We've created this amazing business model called the Forever Business Model, and we want to give it to you for free. All you need to do is jump down into the description below. There's a link there called Steal Our Forever Business Model. Click on the link. There's a 9-minute video that you can watch where we unpack everything you need to know to implement it in your business right away.
In your model of the world and everything you've learned, read, taught, where is that intersection between free will and divine intervention?
Could you explain what you mean by those, first of all?
Absolutely. At what point do we, with NLP and with a lot of, I guess, coaching and teachings in life, we want to have as much influence over our future and what we do and ourselves as we possibly can in order to achieve something, or in order to have a happier life, in order to not have something in the past. Where's in your mind, and this is a deeper question, in your mind, where is the line? And is there a line, or are we all one and it is what it is? But the line between I'm creating this, I want to change a pattern of behavior, or I want to change a pattern in my life that keeps putting me in a place where I don't like ending up. So I make changes within myself. I get more in control of my unconscious behaviors and patterns, versus it's just all divine intervention and I have no control over what I do. It's all fate.
I know you prompted me with this question before, and I thought, oh shit, this is really. But actually, it's interesting. I'm going to answer it in a roundabout way. I'm running a program next week for experienced trainers, and I've called it The Courage to Teach, which is based on a book by Parker J. Palmer, who's, it's one of those books that when I read it, I just had stickers just about on every paragraph. There were so many profound things. And as part of the preparation for this program next week, I've kind of been modeling myself in a lot more detail than in relation to how I train. Because people are curious, because I work very experientially. You were talking about techniques before. I don't often teach many techniques these days because I see it as the output of NLP, whereas I want people to discover their own. Anyway, I realized that one of the things I didn't typically share with people was that divine side of things and where that is for me. And yet, if you look at my book, the start of every chapter, it might have changed in the most recent edition, but at one time I had to change them because of the laws of using quotes changed. At one time, every chapter started with a spiritual quote. And there is very much that dimension for me. It was interesting because I was getting sort of thoughts as you were asking me the question. That I think that when we are totally true to ourselves, it's almost it allows things to happen, that we're not just managing them literally always. So how can I put it? It's hard. It's one of those things that's kind of difficult to explain, but I absolutely have that sense of divine and spirituality. I mean, I studied with Gene Early, who was one of the early trainers in NLP, and he was a devout Christian. And he said to me, you're modeling me, Sue. He said, be careful what you model because you're going to get more than you bargained for. And I think I deepened my faith in the divine as a result of working with him. And one of the reasons why I love going to India is just that sense of just spiritual sense, this beyond self. For most people there, I just find there's a total freedom in that. So it's an interesting mix. I think we can choose. I believe I can say yes to things and choose to manage them. I do wonder how they're prompted in me, if you like. And there's times when things happen, there's a synchronicity, which amazes me. There is that magic. So that's very blurry sort of description, but I
think it's good.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, because
I studied.
I think what you're describing to me is it's kind of how I look at some of the Western mysticism stuff, and it talks about, traversing the different layers of the unconscious, and you get to the little self, which is, attached to the ego. And then, as you go deeper, you go through the shadow and the anima and the animus, which is what Carl Jung talked about. And then eventually you arrive at the big self. And that's connected to your higher self, which is the divine in my way of thinking. And the way that you flow in life, and the way that you act in life, and the way that you behave in life when you behave from that space, for me, it's directly in alignment with what you want, but also with what the divine is bringing into creation as well. And the way in which to do that is very much tied in with the work that we do as coaches and as trainers, because effectively what we're learning to do through the process of NLP is effectively, we're modeling excellence, yes, and we're also cutting away everything that's not us. To make a decision in Latin comes from the idea of cutting away. And I believe that when we're doing therapy, when we're doing coaching, we go through a process of cutting away all that is not that big self with a capital S, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And eventually where you arrive is
just being.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're right. You're right. I was just kind of taking what I got from what you said. That's all.
Yes. Yeah. So I felt like in sharing these things with the group, I thought this is a really important dimension for me, that I absolutely believe, in the divine. And I was about to say, I studied for a while Ignatian spirituality, and I got connected to this abbey, Benedictine abbey, and there was a Benedictine monk who was running programs he was running a program called Spirituality in the Workplace, and it was based on this Ignatian spirituality. And I'd be pushed to give you a full explanation of Ignatian spirituality now, but part of it's about being very present and taking in immense richness, what you're experiencing in the moment. And I said to him one time, I said, "Wow, this is just like NLP." He said, "No, Sue. No, Sue." He said, "NLP might be a little bit like this."
Yes.
I thought, okay, that put me in my place, and put the concept of where things are in relation to everything else. But yeah, it was very important. That whole dimension is very important to me.
Right answer. In a roundabout way.
In a very roundabout way. Yes, because it's not something I talk about very much, and that's why it's probably a first for me to share that with a group, as literally, as I have done in one of these pre-recordings that I've done for this session next week. I just think it's not enough just to have these tools and ways of being on their own. There's more. There's just there's more. And it's believing in that and trusting in that. I think it's important.
Why now, Sue? Why is it important for you to, I guess, bring this into it now? Like, you've obviously always had it in the background, and maybe your work kind of presupposes that. Why now? Why is it important for you now to?
Well,
to be more...
That's a good question, because I was really thinking. I run trainer training. So I'm teaching people. encouraging them to discover, how to be with people, how to create experiences and use experiences. But I really went into what really is the difference that makes the difference. I was really trying to get beyond what I've done before, because these are all experienced people, typically all experienced people who are coming, very experienced, who've been with me quite a number of times. I thought, what are those things that really make a difference? Which is, the strapline for NLP, isn't it? The difference that makes a difference. And that came to me. I thought, I've not really shared this literally. I've certainly implied it, by using many of the quotes in the book, for example. But I've never talked about it in quite such detail before. And I think probably as well that the older I get, the more truthful I am. I get to a deeper truth about who I am. And I think that's what makes the provocative so easy for me, in a way, is like I'm not... Frank Farrelly always said, don't do this if you want people to like you, for example. And I think I feel very comfortable in myself, to say what I think and what I believe now. And that wouldn't have been the case, some years ago.
Why do you think in life, it seems to be the more mature or wise or knowledge you have, the less, for most people, the less you care? I mean, that seems to be a trend with people as they evolve in life, where the care factor seems to...
Well, when you say...
Is it care? Is it, or just so certain in yourself you don't... Whether someone likes you or not is none of your business, and you sort of start to own that a little bit more?
I mean, it's not I don't care. I care, and I care about people, and I really... I just believe in myself so much more than I, would have done when I was younger, for example.
Was there a specific moment that shifted?
I mentioned Frank. Well, I think Frank Farrelly played a big part in that, because he said, don't do this if you want people to like you. And he was an example of somebody who said things, provoked people in a way that, would really shock people. And I saw him do that, and people really didn't know what was happening to them. But he did it with the belief that it made a difference. They'd get it at some point down the line, not necessarily in this session with him. That was huge learning, that you didn't have to, get everything tied up, and you certainly didn't have to have an action plan or anything. Or, it didn't have to happen with you. If you just say the truth of what you're experiencing, then you offer it to people. And it may take a while for it to settle, for them to realize what the learning is, and it could come a lot later. And I think I have that belief, that if I tell people the truth of what I'm experiencing, they will. Somebody wrote to me today and she said, I have to tell you, she said, when I was with you in France, she said, I was angry with you for quite a while. She said, I've worked it through now. Now that's nearly a year. And she's coming back on a program with me. You think, oh, that's great, because it was always, I held an outcome for, I hold space for people in that, that term. And I spoke to her in a way I believe was true to what I held for her. And she didn't like it, and she managed it, but it was the first time she told me I was angry with you, Sue. I thought, oh, great that she's told me now. She said, and now I've learned, now I realise.
Tad would always say, I care for you, but I don't care for your problem. And that was like the permission card to
yes.
to maybe say something that may challenge someone's model of the world. And what do you think changed? Is it that someone evolves and falls on the cause side of the equation, if I put it in basic terms? Is it an understand?
What side of the equation?
In NLP, in some schools, we teach cause and effect.
Oh yeah.
And often the
Of course.
client will come in, or a client will only come in if they're at the effect side of something or
Yeah.
someone in their life. And then with the provocative therapy or provocative coaching, it sort of nudges them to realize that there's some learnings there for them. And often when someone can acknowledge and understand the learnings, they seem to be okay with moving to on the cause side of the equation, where they feel like they have a level of understanding with why or what it is about. Do you find that that's what happened with this client? So you maybe shone a mirror in front of her, and life happened, and she sort of had that realization that maybe what Sue said was correct, and I'm fighting it,
I
and I'll
think
stop fighting it.
I, as far as I can remember, I mean, and what I would typically do, and I know that I was, in a sense, provocative with her, and she witnessed me being provocative with somebody else. And now sometimes when people experience that, they don't like it. I know I have one person who's trained with me for years, and she would have left the room when she first witnessed me being provocative. And now, she's on the edge of this, and it's the thing that will absolutely make a difference for her. And I think people think when you witness, I mean, provocative takes so many forms, but when you witness somebody, when I witnessed Frank being provocative, at times you think, oh my God, thank God I'm not in that chair. And people think, oh, that poor person, they need to be rescued. But
Right.
They don't, of course. And so sometimes it's like, as an observer, they think, oh, this is the wrong thing to be doing. This is just cruel, or it's harsh.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she had that reaction. She couldn't quite understand, why I wasn't rescuing.
Right.
Why I wasn't being kind, so to speak. I mean, I am being kind, I believe, but not in the way that people expect.
Through their model of the world. So in their model of the world, they probably had the belief that hugs cure all.
Yes. I mean, I always remember working with these lovely ladies in Qatar, and when people get upset in coaching, and I always think, well, tears are the real measure of success. But very often, it's emotional when people change fundamentally.
Yes.
And it fascinates me the number of people that will rush to get the tissues, and give tissue. And this lady who I was working with, she said, God, if they can't ask for a tissue for themselves, what chance have they stand in life? And I thought, oh, that's definitely. And I might have said something like that, but
just to rub that salt.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, Cal, if you remember, like in all the trainings, as soon as the tears come out, there's a horde of do-gooders, and they mean well. I'm not saying it sarcastically,
Yes.
but they're genuine do-gooders who rush out and get the tissues and bring them up, and we sort of have to remind people sometimes that you got to let them break down before they break through. And
Yes, absolutely.
but I think, is it a conditioning, or do you think it's just innate human wiring to jump when someone is feeling less? How am I trying to articulate this? Being okay to see someone go through a change that may take them down a low road, knowing that there's a high road just around the corner.
I think it's often because people don't want to experience that themselves. They're afraid of showing their emotions, so they kind of project it onto another. And it's like, let's make them okay, because they're not okay.
Yes. That's a really good insight, Sue. Absolutely. Well, no, it is because unconsciously, Cal's done a lot of work with Carl, on Carl Jung as well, and the whole notion of perception is projection. So we project our most unconscious.
One of the presuppositions: if you spot it, you've got it.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. We had a corporate training online, and I taught perceptions projection straight after cause and effect, and the perceptions projection really ruffled some feathers, because particularly one person was going through a difficult period in their life, and they said, how on earth is my ex? That's not me. They're an a-hole. And this stuff what do you mean it's me? And it got quite It was in a room of 30, so obviously it wasn't a position to go to be provocative, and it wasn't done in a coaching format. It was more to encourage the team to take more accountability for their work and to adopt a growth mindset. So it was sort of done in that perspective. But it can actually ruffle some feathers when you pull out the perceptions projection card.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the most that question, how is what I recognize in other people true about me? I think it's one of the most powerful everyday forms of self-development. I mean, I sometimes wish I didn't know it because if I think, oh, my neighbour's been an arsehole, I think, damn it, that's going to be right back at me. But I think the way that you say it's really important, because often people will say, yeah, but I don't do what they do. And of course, it's not that. It's not. The key question when someone is projecting something, I believe, is to ask and say, what is it about that? What is it about that bothers you or affects you that you don't like? And that's when they bring their map of the world in. That's when they bring their stuff in. It's not the little behavior. But that's what people think when they see that at first. They think, oh, it means I do what they do. And it doesn't.
No.
It's all about structure.
Right.
It's all about structure in NLP. And it's like, it's the structure in somebody else that you are being affected by.
What was that question?
The question is,
what is it about
so when they say, well, they do this, I'll just tell you what I say about my neighbour, she's, oh dear, she's, how can I put it?
Don't worry, she's not watching.
No, she's not. It's too dark anyway. She wanders around and she sort of shows off. I think, damn it. She's quite she's an actress. Anyway, so I don't do those things. But the question is, what is it about that I don't like?
Yeah.
And I think she draws attention to herself. I hate saying it. Yeah, I hate going through this myself. It's the way she draws attention to herself that I don't like. I think, damn it, how do I do that? And I know I do. I know I do it in social situations. I'm so used to being, the sort of trainer and the coach and things. I have to really learn to shut up when I'm in social situations. And I think she highlights that part of me that resists that. Yes. What is it about that? That's the key question.
Cal, you had a question?
No, I was more agreeing with it because I've been in this situation plenty of times, coaching and training and talking about perception as projection, and people saying, I don't do that and that's not me and stuff like that. But like you said, it's about bringing it back to the structure, and I like to look at it from a more symbolic standpoint. You say, what is it about that? The language I use is, what does that mean to you when it affects you emotionally? And then that kind of derives the structure out of it. And I often say that it's not always something that you're doing to that person either, because they can get that confused also. But it's, where are you also, the next question I usually ask after is, where are you doing that elsewhere in another context of life? Because it may not be directly in this context with that relationship with that person, like Conor was talking about with their ex-wife or whatever.
Absolutely.
It could be in a different context, but it's showing up here because this is where you're most able to be conscious of it. And oftentimes people
I love that question.
Just doing it in a different context. They're actually doing it to themselves. That can also be, and I'm not trying to do all these emojis, I can turn them off, but it's looking at it more from a symbolic standpoint, because that's the way that the unconscious mind communicates with the conscious mind, is from that symbolic structure standpoint that you spoke to.
Yes, I think that's key, that people think it's literally the same or in the same situation, but it's not.
It's linear. Yeah.
It's like perceptual positions, when because I think often people think if they identify a problem with somebody and they're working, let's say a problem, it doesn't have to be that, and they're working it through, and they're usually looking for how to fix this situation with this person, as opposed to, what's this teaching you? What's this providing you with an opportunity for in life, learning that's generic, that's in life, not, and it will encompass this person. But I think what people expect to do with that is, oh, I'm going to sort out what I'm going to do with this person in the future that'll make it all right. And it's so much more than that. It's about, what's being shown to you, a learning that perhaps you are not drawing on as fully as you could have done. That's going to benefit you in life in general. And then it just becomes so much more than that specific scenario.
It's
so
funny
true.
that you mentioned the example with your neighbor.
There's a delay.
As you mentioned that example with your neighbor, one of the participants at the session that I was at, the question is what people irritate or annoy you, and someone said people who are arrogant or people who have an ego, like egotistical people, and when we pulled away the layers of the onion, what popped out was I hold myself back because I don't believe in myself enough to show that level of confidence.
Yes.
And for them, that was like a moment, because for so long they'd pointed the finger outside and said, I don't like people who show ego or too much confidence because they're insert label. And then it was all about themselves. And for them, it was a massive aha moment when they realized that actually this is an opportunity for me to grow because I hold myself back.
I think it can work both those ways, can't it? It can either be, I don't like that because I have that same structure, or I don't like that because it's mirroring something I wish to have in myself where I have an imbalance. Yeah.
Yes. We've found
there's the positive side. There's the positive side.
Yeah.
Conor and I have found that when we address those things, whether it be in ourselves or in another context of life, when we either one or two things happen, just a simple awareness of that thing or the learning that we gain from it, we make changes with that other event or circumstance or person or even with ourselves. That the current event that it's being raised in and that we're most conscious of, where it's annoying us, actually either stops having any effect on us or that person changes and doesn't do it anymore.
Yes.
It's kind of a strange thing.
Yes, that's the crazy thing, isn't it? I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I had somebody who was bullied by somebody and she really got learning from it. It was to teach her how to develop the skills of assertiveness, as a project manager in a very male-dominated business. And then she used to avoid this guy that she felt was really aggressive with her. I wrote about this one, I think, in one of the editions of my book. And then she said, he's actually teaching me, how determined and assertive I need to be in order to fulfill this role, which is a new role for women. And she said, I can't wait to get back to them now, to find this person. And she said, I never did it again. And I thought, that's the way it works, isn't it? It's like,
it's that emotional power almost that happens. And I don't mean conscious power, but just power over you because you choose to be at the effect in that moment. And as you were talking, it's like magic. I love magic tricks. I grew up loving magic tricks. But once you find out what the trick is, the emotion's gone. Like once you get the learnings, it's like, and flatline in terms of emotion. It's the uncertainty maybe. And when you are conscious of it and you verbalize it, that's enough to take out that charge.
I think there's another piece. I'll sometimes follow that process. If you spot it, you've got it. So when people say, when they recognize, that they have this, they're mirroring this structure, they're recognizing this structure. And I think it's an interesting question then say, so how would you wish that person to be instead of the way that they are being now? What if you don't like how they are, how do you wish them to be? And then say, so how can you be that?
I like that.
So it brings it, how do you be the example of the things that you wish for in the world?
Yeah, that's like a biblical example because it's like whatever you don't have, give it, give it out. And it's kind of based on reciprocity as well. It always comes back to you.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's a broader question. You've been
Uh-oh.
studying NLP for many years. And it ties in with perception and projection. What do you feel are the blind spots that most people, and this is again generalized, massively generalized, but the blind spots in individuals that cause them to seek out to improve?
Well, if they're blind spots, they don't know, do they?
Correct. Yes. Well, that's hence why they're seeking.
I mean, I think people seek, but they don't know what the blind spots are.
Mm.
They have an experience or a sense that there's more. There's something missing, perhaps, or they want to improve where they're at. They see opportunities to grow in some way. But when people come and they say their outcomes for a program, I don't really pay a lot of attention to what they say. They show what they need.
Yes.
And so that's what they don't know. They don't know the patterns that they're running.
Yeah.
They know some of them, but quite a lot of them they don't know. And so they get that awareness of patterns that, I mean, are just so present, in their everyday life, and yet they're not. And so I think what they get is that awareness, but they also don't know. They don't know their real potential. They don't know their true talents, or they don't realize what things they do that are excellent in some way. And I think that's that's the joy of NLP, is people realizing just how special they are, and that qualities that perhaps they've dismissed or not drawn on are really remarkable and unique to them. And I think that's just to witness that is phenomenal.
Cal and I love nothing more than to help people step into their full potential.
Yeah.
And one of my personal favorite metaphors is the old Chinese man with the crackpot. The
Yes.
crackpot metaphor. It even now I've said it
I'm saying,
hundreds of times.
It's the one with the crackpot drips the water.
That's exactly right. Correct. And even telling it now, I get goosebumps, because I think, and maybe NLP is the tool that shines a light on. It doesn't matter. You're never broken. You're magnificent how you are.
Yes.
We just help you shine that flashlight on those areas that are hidden.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for the insights on that one. I was wondering if there was a common thread or a trend, but it's really from what you said, helping people step into their potential.
Yes.
And not necessarily. So is it about change? Is it about change, or is it about having people believe in? Is it belief? What is the under?
It's all. I think it's important to address all those things. So it's change. It can be a very, very specific change. I always find it remarkable to have somebody change one word. One word that they use regularly. If they change if to as, it's just profound. So that things that with an if are potential in the future, whereas as is like present and belief in self. So I think that's remarkable. You can change one word, which is a behaviour. Well, you're changing beliefs, and you're changing potentially, identity and everything with that.
Yeah.
I think that's that. So having that access to the real detail, being able to observe those details, and just notice how one tiny little adjustment can make a huge shift in life. I love that.
The rewiring.
Yes. So if that's change, just flip something.
And I love when I first got into NLP, everyone would talk about unconscious change, and I thought that's so wishy-washy. But when I was like, what do you mean unconscious change? And they were like, Connor, you've changed. I'm like, no, I haven't. because it is unconscious. You can't be quite. You can, a lot of people, and I was the same, were thinking that NLP was some sort of, magic wand that you have an epiphany, and then you have an out of body experience, and then bang, I'm changed, and I'm now floating instead of walking, and that's not what it's about.
You do get that.
You can get that
on the advanced programs.
You'll be teaching it in your upcoming master prac. But it's that unconscious change, and it's only after a period of time has passed that you look back and you think, I wasn't triggered by that. I didn't fire up there, or wow, I pushed myself further when normally I would have tapped out of those of that situation, and that's unconscious change. And I think what I as you know, Cal and I have been selling NLP and encouraging people to learn NLP for many years. And one of the ways that I always like to compare it is to the fitness industry, and doing the change. It's like I go to the gym, and after a period of time my body changes, but I don't know exactly when it happened, but a period of time passes, and all of a sudden I'm at the weight. All of a sudden I can lift more weights, or and it's when you look back and you realize, man, okay.
I think there can be moments, because I know when I'm coaching, training and coaching, I'm looking for that moment when somebody becomes kind of one with themselves, when they become congruent. So they can be doing all sorts of stuff, and then at some point they have this, and it's holding them there. Then I've just finished a course, and I can think of a specific scenario, and somebody just got this, and you could see, like a weight's dropped off the shoulders. Their muscles have relaxed, in the face. They're just like, and they're free. And then they go, and I want to ask you, and you think, hang on, stay with this and learn. Just learn what this is like. And it's fascinating how sometimes people don't realize at first how important that moment is, and how important it is to become familiar with it and befriend it and learn what the elements of it are, so that they can maintain that for themselves. And they don't necessarily consciously recognize that's happened until it's marked out for them.
Yes. Yeah.
That out of parts integration and was one that I felt a massive kinesthetic shift.
Yes.
But my behavior after that point, I wasn't conscious that I was doing a different behavior, because most behavior is unconscious. Anyway, I love it. I mean, we love it. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was
structure of magic.
Yeah. I know it's a I don't know about you, Cal, but I mean, Cal's taught all over the world. What are your thoughts on that, Cal?
To be honest, I was just in awe of you guys talking, and then I started to think about my next question. So I was already on to the next thing in my mind, to be honest with you. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share that with you guys. I actually wanted to, because we didn't really dive into it as much last time. So I'd love to talk about what it means to be provocative in coaching, what it means to be provocative in therapy. And maybe if you're willing, and maybe if Conor and I are game enough to actually experience some of that. Maybe I'm biting off a little bit more than I can chew right now. But yeah, we'd love to hear a bit more about that, because I just think it's such a fascinating topic. I think that particularly in Australia, we do our best to not upset the apple cart if we can. We have this, she'll be right attitude, and we often don't like to get other people's noses out of joint, is the expression here. And often our coaching is kind of that way. We pre-frame everything in a way that.
Do you think that's how you're perceived in the rest of the world?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I've experienced in the training room. Anyway, it feels like often, we don't want to upset people. We'd rather go along to get along. In many ways. So there are times where the Aussies will be very competitive and even be happy to fight with one another. but for the most part, we don't like to upset the apple cart. And I do love the idea of provocative coaching and therapy, because I think a lot of us are in need of just, having it be a bit more abrupt and sometimes abrasive. So, and maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe that's not
Getting that slap in the face from time to time.
Certain cultures really lend themselves to provocative, and really, from what you're saying, is you're probably not. So, I mean, you might have to rule it out as an option. If you don't want to upset the apple cart, I'm afraid that's going to be a bit tricky.
Yeah,
I told you last time I'm from Liverpool.
I think it's needed.
You think it's neat? I know, but you can think it's, it's like what thought did. You can think about these things, but in practice, I mean, how are you going to challenge that cultural norm of not upsetting the apple cart?
Pre-frame.
I feel like you're doing it to me already.
I think you'd better, yeah. I do advise certain people not to take it up. It's just not an option, really. You can be too nice.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So can you, for the audience, can you explain a kind of a little bit more about what you're doing behind the scenes, in the thinking of this?
Well, carry on. Can I explain what I'm doing?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it in my intro. You use humor, you use things that maybe are upsetting, or honesty, I think, is another one, which is funny, right? Why can't we be honest as coaches? Anyway, but yeah, could you explain some of the modalities that sit behind the strategy? I know you don't like to teach techniques, but some sort of context to give.
Beck says she's not giving anything.
It's interesting. The word that became very significant to me recently was paradox. I was asked to do an interview online, and they wanted the thread to be paradox. And I thought, wow, that's the essence. That's the essence of NLP, I believe. It's like it's a paradox. Those beliefs of excellence, they're paradox. And so is provocative. So for example, somebody comes with the expectation that you're going to help them, maybe answer a question that they're asking you. Somebody asked me one last week, and it was all about research or something. And I said, I don't know, but to actually say, well, I don't know, not to give the helpful answer, to the point where you might give a crazy answer, but the message is in the learning is in the meta message. It's like saying the meta message is you can work this out for yourself.
Right.
If I answer you, basically, I'm denying that. I'm colluding with your naivety. So if somebody asks a question which I think they can work this out themselves, then I'll give a crazy answer. Or if they've got a very profound, a very strong pattern for something, you get people who say, well, how long have we got in the breakout rooms? So we say 5 minutes and 16 seconds, but so you say something that highlights the pattern. And most people will wonder what you're doing, think you're bonkers, when you say something like that. But the aim is to not give the expected, to highlight what people are doing to themselves, or to say the things. God, there's so many aspects to it. It's also to speak the things that people might think about somebody but not say them, but you say them. And to take people to those edges where they're uncomfortable, so that they learn. So wherever, whatever edge.
Away when you were doing it before.
Oh, you're lightweight then? I told you don't really bother with this stuff.
Love it.
Well.
Would you say something like, well, if that's what you think, then maybe coaching isn't the right avenue for you?
Yeah, just say, well, yeah, this is just not for you. Ooh, I've got my virus. Very appropriately, I've got this warning: my virus protection is expiring. Will I accept the risk?
It reminds me, the other day, our youngest, who's 8, said to Mandy, my wife, she says, "Mum, what's 5 plus 3?" And Mandy said, "I'm not going to answer that."
Yeah.
She knows it. And she's like, "I'm not going to answer that." You're just throwing these random questions. Like it became about, I'm not going to answer these silly questions that you're just thinking of these questions and asking me for no reason.
That kind of falls more into the category of aggression, I'd say, rather than
aggression. Tough love. But isn't that provocative coaching? Yeah, where's the line between provocative coaching and tough love?
Well, it's got learning as the intention. The intention is learning, that people learn about their patterns, and it's done lovingly. Yeah, Frank always emphasised that. That was really key. It's not just about having a laugh about somebody or just provoking them. I mean, I think that's the unfortunate aspect of that term. But it takes people out of their, their familiarity, their comfort. It just creates that state of disturbance, of shock. Not always shock, but just or amusement about something. They take a different perspective on themselves.
And is provocative coaching or provocative therapy the way that you teach it? Is that a separate course? Is that a whole separate course, or do you blend it in with, let's say, your master practitioner training?
I usually it's in me. I mean, I am that way, and that's the way it works for me best. I think is this. It's just how I am. I don't name it. I did do a program last summer purely on provocative, but I think the challenge with that is either people think you're going to be funny all the time, and it's not about being necessarily funny. You know, humour plays a big part, but it's not only about that. Whereas it's about it being a part of everything else. So I prefer that people experience it just part of the the usual training.
Right.
But I have, and I am thinking. I feel like as a tribute to Frank, I'd like to write about it, and I have done a book spec. I do find it challenging how to, it's because it encompasses so much.
It sounds like it's so unconsciously competent for you as well. I know, like with Conor's sales process, so much of it was unconscious to him what he was doing, and it kind of took me over years asking him questions, and probably what you did with Frank with provocative, asking him questions, observing, finding out what the reasons why he did certain things were, and then that enabled me to map it out and create like a model around it. But I guess, and I'm just kind of understanding why that would be difficult for you to write about it. It's because it's so unconsciously competent in you, by the sounds.
I think it's just that there's so much to it to, get it's such an experiential thing. I think that's the challenge, that how to give people the experience of it, because it's about how you say it. It's about the tone of voice. It's about the humor. It's about the twinkle in the eye. It's about flirtatious at times. It's like
charm. There's a bit of charm there, isn't there?
Charm, and sort of, there's a lot of innuendo in the way that you say things that signal, that it's signaling this is provocative. So if I said to somebody, "Well, I don't have the answer," but if I said, "I haven't got," if I say it in a different way, it sort of signals.
Subtle.
What's the difference between what's the difference between, someone coming in and you just deliberately being provocative to them, and having the intention of them getting some sort of learning? Are you always aware of the learning that you want them to get, or is it more than that? It's kind of the subtle meta shifts that you're creating through that provocative language that you use.
Yes, no, yes, and yes.
Repeat the question, Cal, because I know the answers.
What do you mean repeat the question? With 5 questions.
I often do that. I can't even remember. I put myself into a trance. Can you unpack the answers for us? Can you unpack the answers for us?
Can I unpack what?
Your answers for us.
The answers.
Can you elaborate on your answers?
Could you just rewind a bit to the first question you asked me?
I think if from the third perspective, are they coming in knowing they're going to get provocative coaching, or is that just what?
Oh,
that's clear. I think that was the question.
Well, it started off.
If not, answer that one.
No, I was asking if
you guys
the difference. Yeah, sorry. I was asking the difference between.
Not helpful. In fact, it's getting. You asked me what's the difference between somebody just coming in for coaching and me being right up front provocative. Okay.
Well,
I think they'll pay me very readily, and the other one they won't.
No, but it was also about is your, even if they are coming in under the umbrella and context of coaching, are you just setting the intention that they get learnings from the provocative coaching and therapy, or is there a specific learning that you want them to get?
It's the third one.
It's like a swish pattern. You probably wouldn't use it all the time, only when needed.
Are you rescuing him now?
No, this
I'm learning. I'm trying to get understanding.
Cognitive dissonance, because my brain just like starts to fry. But I know that it's like it's working on me, but at the same time, I'm finding it like
I think Kallum is channeling Milton Erickson at the moment.
I'm malfunctioning.
So
rescue me, Conor.
Okay, it's you read the pattern. I'm not come back to one of those questions in a minute.
Costa says stay in the now. All right, okay, we go.
Read the pattern and highlight the pattern, and then maybe exaggerate the pattern back to somebody.
So you're always working with
so
the pattern
that they, and if you're doing that with humour, always working with structure. Yeah, absolutely, totally.
Well, I think that's the theme of today, isn't it? The structure.
Structure. It's all about structure. NLP is about structure. Like it's Grinder's, he said,
structure of
treat
magic.
all conversation as unsubstantiated rumour and supported by non-verbal behaviour. It's like it's all the information is in the structure. You're working with the meta message. And being the message that you want to communicate is the key.
Oh, damn, that was a good one.
Destructure.
Clip that cell.
Yeah. So
did you have a sixth question, Kallum?
I think that I'm good. I think I'm healed.
Oh, well.
I'm healed.
Healed. You heard of this concept of clean questions?
Of what questions?
Please enlighten me.
Exactly. Clean questions.
As opposed to dirty questions?
Yeah, as opposed to dirty questions.
Clean questions.
Yes.
I would assume clean questions would be if we had scripted this whole thing, the questions would have been clean.
Or softballed.
That's a very wise answer, Conor.
As we go off the cuff, they can get a little bit unclean.
You could say that.
Smudged. They're smudged questions.
Are they questions that you write out on a piece of paper and put in the laundry?
I think they might be for you, yes. See, this is an alien concept. They're like the other end of the spectrum to provocative stuff.
I see.
Counseling.
Letting people
in
be
that
in
they
effect.
don't have. Okay, so that wasn't a clean question. Just flag it up so you can give it. By a process of elimination, we might get to what a clean question is. So
Clean question would be something like,
it doesn't have any presuppositions or filters, meta programs.
okay. When you see yourself in the mirror, how does that make you feel?
The presupposition is that there is a mirror. And that you have feelings.
The presupposition is a mirror. You see it. It makes you feel something. Crikey. Oh, right.
How do you ask a question
without any presuppositions?
Yeah. Connor and I are the same
Well,
wavelength.
I can understand where you guys come from. Yeah. David Grove was the source of these questions. And he said,
please
the I-ness. This is going to be, I think this will put you two in a trance. The I-ness of the facilitator should virtually cease to exist. I look at the stunned look on your faces. It's like, how is that possible?
Yeah. Well, it feels like it's 11:30 p.m.
That's not a question
for me right now.
No, that's not a question.
It's a statement. So how do you frame a question without a presupposition?
Without a presupposition?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your reaction to, I'm going to ask you an opening question. So what's your reaction to what I've been saying in the last? Kind in what way?
Yeah. Define kind.
What did I say out of trance and I can understand what you're saying?
Okay. So understand how?
Oh, did I lose everybody?
This is.
He's either really in trance or his camera's stopped.
I know, or he's stopping it in some way.
You've literally stopped him.
Yep. So you're taking only what the other person says. It's like you're being not knowing.
So you are relying on their input first.
Well, you don't necessarily rely on that. You may be asking questions, but typically people come back with, most people, fill their answers with, "Oh, he's gone altogether."
This is what you do, Sue.
I know. Most people answer in abstract terms, and there's no way that we can really understand. We don't have to understand what they mean, but they may not know what they mean either by what they're saying. So a way of getting below the surface is to take their words and put them back to them with a totally neutral question. So
different from meta model
it
questions.
Is different. Yes, it's different. So like Kallum saying, "Well, please be kind to me." I don't know what I can guess, but I don't know what he means. He's joking, but nevertheless, I don't know really what he means by kind. So if I say, "So kind and kind in what way?" So if somebody says, they'll often express their outcomes for themselves in very abstract terms. They say, "Well, I want to be successful. I want to be confident." Confident in what way? And it invites people gradually to answer the question. They have to associate into it, and as they associate into it, they get the very thing that they're asking for. I would say it's the other end of the spectrum to what you two do typically.
Welcome back, Cal. Where did you go?
Well, I was out there, guys. I was way out there. Just the paradox of Sue's question threw me into another dimension, but I'm back now. There wasn't any Wi-Fi in that other dimension, but there is here, so I'm back. Must mean I'm back. Did we get to the bottom? Magic. Did we get to the bottom of what a question is without a presupposition and doesn't have any meta programs in it?
What do you mean by
what is clearly not?
I want my Wi-Fi to
What would the
continue to
bottom
work.
look like, Callum?
Oh,
What would that question look like? Wouldn't that mean
What would the bottom look like? How would we know we're at the bottom?
well, that presupposes there is a bottom, right? So,
It's very limiting of you. Putting boundaries around change.
I'm still confused. I want closure. I've got a high need for closure.
So
Or we could have Sue back a third time.
What kind of closure would you like, Callum?
Can you give me an example of a question without a presupposition or meta program?
Well, you said you want closure, and I go, well, what kind of closure? There's no presupposition.
Right.
I'm just taking your words.
Right. Okay. All right. I hear it. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I don't know if I could do that intentionally though, could I?
No, you couldn't. Intensely. When you say intensely.
There's always cake. What's that? Beck Marie. Beck May. There's always cake, Cal.
There's always cake. That's so good. Oh my God. This has been the best fun, just laughing like this. It's great.
Oh, it's surreal. Yeah.
We have another Sue who's watching. Sue from Adelaide, and she said that she's loving your work. So maybe, yeah, this is fun. Where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here?
Well, where are we now?
Yes, there's a presupposition we go somewhere from here. Yeah, where are you now?
I didn't actually consider that provocative coaching and therapy could put people into such a cool little trance. It's actually quite fun.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
I mean that, when you sort of say something that's confusing, that doesn't register, isn't what you expect. Absolutely. It creates a trance.
Because it's kind of like cognitive dissonance. Is that right? Like it kind of two opposing thoughts kind of being mulled over at the same simultaneously in the mind. And I guess that's where the paradoxical element can come into it too, because you're like, which one of these two things that I'm wrestling with are the new pattern that I want to have roll out in my mind?
It's truth.
How do I reconcile these two things?
Right.
I'll give you, because I had sessions myself with Frank. One group said, "Sue, let's see him have a session with you." And I thought, oh, okay. And he didn't like you to mess about, didn't like you to pretend to have an issue. You had to have a real issue. Mm-hmm. So I spent time over the lunchtime thinking, okay, well, now what am I going to bring? And I've got this audience here. What am I going to bring to Frank? Okay, I've got this issue in my life, right? Now I know him very well. If I bring that issue out, and I know what he's going to say to that, okay, but all right, then I can do that. And I've got the second issue, so I've got that as a backup. And if I present that to him, I'm pretty sure what he's going to say to me, is this. And if he says this, so get to the place, sit down beside him, and he goes, and he'd always play with your name, and he'd say, "Okay, Susie Q, what's the issue?" And I said, "Well, Frank, I've got two issues." He said, "Let's deal with the third."
What a legend. That's so good.
And I was straight away into a trance. I really don't remember much
after
what happened for the next half an hour.
Oh my God. That's so cool.
Exactly. So that's like, you're working with the pattern, highlighting the pattern. Now that's not clean. That's a
yes.
We've mentioned him a bunch of times. What was he like? What was he like to be around?
Oh, he was outrageous. Really, he was always, sort of. That's who he was. Provocative and flirtatious and funny and truth speaking, and I mean, I'd see him check into hotels, when he was staying. And he would have the receptionist around his little finger in seconds. And he'd say, look, I'm an old man, somebody help me with my bag. He could manage them perfectly. But he would just have fun in situations. Yeah. And he would just speak a truth. He was remarkable. And he was a very, very educated man. Any topic anybody brought up in coaching, he had a back, he knew about it.
He sounds like a cool guy to hang out with.
Yeah. I'll send you a video. I've got a few videos of him.
Oh, I'd love to see it. I'd love that. It'd be great. So we mentioned, I think it was your master prac coming up at the start of the session. Can you remind people that are watching now what you've got coming up on the calendar?
So there's a master prac which I'm going to kind of run it in parallel with one that I'm doing online at the regular time, but I'm going to run sessions that are alongside it. I think it'll be at sort of 8 o'clock your time in the mornings. So I'm going to actually draw on some of the videos of what I do at the regular time, and then do online coaching training with people who are in Australia. So that's going to happen in March. It'll be over a period of a few hours over a period of 3 weeks.
If people have done master prac before, are you open to having people come back and review with you? Is that something?
Definitely. I guarantee it will be different.
Yeah, I guarantee it will be too.
And if someone is a trainer and they love something that you teach, do you have a pathway for them to learn? And you run a trainer's training.
I do
as well. Yes.
Yes, I run a trainer's training, and I sometimes have a lot of people, sort of come and assist me, sort of apprentice me as well. So they'll come and assist on programs, but we'll kind of debrief in terms of what I'm doing. They get a chance to ask about that. So that supplements a core training. I mean, and yet this program next week, this is like a punchy short program where I'm going through these things that I think are really crucial to trainer training. But it's not a whole, they're mostly all trainers.
Okay, cool. So what's happening next week? Sorry.
It's a program. It's just 3 days, but I've been sending out a lot of videos before. This is the one where I send a video talking about spirituality, for example, as being something that makes a difference. So I've been sending out a lot of videos beforehand, and people have been sending me videos of themselves, starter sessions. So I got feedback for them as well. And I'm doing this 3-day, just after 3 afternoons, really addressing some of these critical issues, I think, that make the difference in training. But that's at a sort of European time.
Well, that's pretty. But it's only for a few hours, did you say?
Yes, a few hours a day.
So it could be from like 3 a.m. till 6 a.m. Sydney time, or thereabouts.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So in European time, it's like, I think it's 4 till 6, something like that. I can't remember offhand.
That would be about 2 till 4. 2 a.m. till 4 a.m. roughly, if you're in France.
How many hours are you ahead?
Well, we're 9:30, and I think it's 11:30 your time.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So I just sort of add 2 hours. So if you start at 4 p.m., then it'll be 2 a.m. here.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I see.
But then that's for the program next week. Yeah.
Bless you.
But when I do the master prac next year, I'm going to run sessions for people in Australia at I think 8 o'clock. I think that time.
8 a.m. Yeah, which will be 10 p.m. your time.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I think
it's late.
Actually, you sort of realise that.
It's 8 o'clock for yours that we start, and it was my 10 o'clock I started. Yeah.
Brilliant. So if you would like to find out more, jump on sueknight.com, SUEKNIGHT.com. Introduce yourself and upskill yourself.
Have the best time, because I've had the best time on this this
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, that was really that was a lot of fun. I love the language is overlooked, I think, by so many. But when you have and can see it being displayed and mastered, it's really, really engaging and can create a lot of change. Anyway, I feel like I'm in the trance
You
now.
put me into trance. It's like
Right now.
I really enjoy talking. Well, I'm not sure it's talking with you guys, but I really enjoy these sessions. Very entertaining.
We do too. We love it. I was excited to see your name back on the roster. I was excited to get into this one. I had such a great time on the last episode that we did with you. And if you haven't watched the last episode with Sue, please watch that as well, because it was a great session on the podcast. So we really love when you come on board.
Pretty sneaky though. Pretty sneaky how you kept cutting out though there, Callum. I mean, I think that's real avoidance.
Yeah.
It's funny how you're much clearer now. Look, now that we're closing.
My avoidance strategies are quite exquisite because I'm a master trainer. So I have to come up with more and more exquisite avoidance strategies. So it takes another master to identify.
My methods are exquisite, according to whom?
Yeah. Your neighbors must hate you, Cal. Every time you want to avoid something, like the whole neighborhood goes out of electricity.
Goes out. There's a and I tell you who says it's exquisite. My master trainer certificate over there on the board.
It talks to you, does it?
You must be right.
Well, what else does it say, Cal?
I can't tell you. You have to become a master trainer.
Now, if it was in your loo, then it would say even more.
Exactly. Yeah.
I could go all day. This is great.
Yeah. And I think the issue we have is that we want to continue, but we know we're now nearly an hour and a half, and it's 11:30 at night for Sue. We've got to pull the pin. But we would love to have you back, obviously.
Yeah, let's have you back before your master pack, so we can get a few more people interested and get them on board with the time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Maybe Sal sometime in February.
If that would be my third session with you guys. I'm not sure I'll be sane after a third one. Honestly, I'd love to.
It's the 10th one you got to be worried about, Sue. So let's just focus on the 10th one.
And plus, I really want to find out what that third issue is as well.
Me too. Yeah, that was genius.
Yeah, it's so good. I love that.
Absolutely.
So good. I'm going to use that one.
It's like you just know you've been got, straight off.
Yeah, because you were like getting super strategic about how you were going to come back at him and stuff, and he just like completely outsmarted at you. It was great.
Just cut the legs from under me totally, and I thought, oh God, yeah, it was remarkable insight.
Yeah, you definitely need to write that book. I know it's going to be, like you said, challenging.
I know,
maybe, but yeah,
I want to just. Yeah, I want to make sure I do it justice. Really do it justice.
How will you know that you've done it justice?
How will I? Be careful. That was all clean.
And whose justice are you going by?
Yeah, because I think it can be misunderstood. Provocative.
I would agree 100%. Even experiencing it, I think in moments you've got to remind yourself that
It's only misunderstood if you don't understand it yourself, though, isn't it?
Oh
my God. You two, just like bookends. You go from sort of a barrage of questions to really trance-like statements from you.
Oh, you should see us. You should see us at our Christmas party.
That's right, the Christmas parties. It was
good.
We joked about a trance out where you the idea was to whoever could put the other person in trance first wins. And it was just like a Milton off. I think we called it a Milton off. Like just using Milton model language patterns over and over again.
We called it a Milton off, yeah.
See who fell asleep first. Anyhow, look, I think we will let you go to bed. It's 11:42.
This time.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'm going to sleep a long time after this.
But Sue, thank you so much for coming back again. I feel like this is such a formal way to end it. Maybe I should just end it.
Maybe just follow Sue on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, wherever else she is, because always producing. Get on her mailing list as well, because it sounds like
Miltonov sounds like a brand of vodka. It does.
No, it does.
Yeah, that's actually a great
Miltonov,
idea.
yeah.
Maybe we make an alcohol for the NLP industry.
You are.
Guaranteed to triple your ability to put people in trance by you going to trance first.
Completely
Thank you.
unconscious. It'll make you completely unconscious.
Thank you very much for watching the Unplugged podcast with Kallum and Conor from Connekt Coaching. Hope you loved this guest this week as much as we did. Cal?
What we wanted to remind you of is that if you wanted to steal our forever business model, which is perfect for all sorts of businesses around the world, to start to build extra revenue in your business right away, get instant access by clicking on the description and going into the link below, watching the 9-minute video where we unpack everything. See you next time.